Hey guys, it's Gail here with Everything Nash with one of my most favorite artists, Jordan Lee. Jordan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to get to it.
Full disclosure, Jordan is one of my very good friends, and I always love when I can interview my friends. And we have so much to talk about, starting with your new EP, Why Do I? Give me all of the details on it.
It's been a long time coming. I've released two songs kind of by itself, and I've always wanted to release kind of like a project, but I just never, things happen. And so I finally have had three songs that just made sense together, and I wrote some of them. One of them is an outside song, and it's just like I listen to them now and I can hear all my influences mixed in, and it just makes me so happy.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning because you were a super successful accountant, kind of
Yes.
having the dream job,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
tried out for The Voice.
I did. Yeah. I grew up with a very practical mindset and always just had a dream. And so I came to Nashville with the dream. It turned into a practical thing. And then how life works, The Voice kind of happened again and just kind of, it's been a big whirlwind, but yeah, it's kind of crazy.
And after you were on The Voice, you went back to being an accountant for a while, right?
I did. And it just kind of worked where it's like I was able to use that practical job to sustain and work towards my dream. So it's been this weird, like kind of back and forth and using both sides of my brain, but it just, in my mind, it makes sense. And it's been really awesome to be able to do that.
So you're still working as an accountant now.
I am. I was actually working up until now. I'm working a little bit here after this interview, and then actually I have a write today at 2. So I'm going to be writing. So it's like literally using just everything that is in my mind. And sometimes it doesn't make any sense. And I don't know. Actually, one of the songs, the first song on the EP, Feel Something, I had a 5-hour continuing education course on like something accounting related. I don't even remember. And then I went to write that like evening and we wrote that song. And I'm just like, what? This doesn't make any sense.
So talk to me about that moment when you decided, hey, I know I can sing. I'm going to try out for The Voice.
Honestly, it kind of just fell in my lap a little bit. And the whole process, it was more just like a pinch me, like, what am I doing here? Like, how did this happen? What, like, do I deserve to be here? Like all that type of stuff. Cause singing to me, I kind of got to that point where it was just like, this is something I love. Singing for me is first and foremost. And whether it's in church or whatever, like, I just want to do that. And so to be in a situation where you're singing in front of people you've listened to, because my season, there was Adam Levine, Kelly Clarkson, Blake Shelton, and Alicia Keys. So I've listened to all of them, and then to just like basically wake up and they're in front of you and they're talking to you and saying your name. It's like I can still hear like Alicia Keys say my name, and I'm like, it's like the best sound in the world.
Okay, so that was season 14. So that was a few years ago. So fill in the gaps between then and now in 2021, you're releasing the CP.
Yeah, so I went right off of that show and I made some great friends, great connections, but I didn't really know what to do with that. Because in that show, you're treated like this big star. You're on TV, you have hair and makeup, you have wardrobe, and then reality sits in when you leave and you're doing it for yourself now and you have to start at the bottom. And so it took me a little bit to kind of get my bearings, and I'd never really written a ton before then. So learning how to write, and I never really played a show other than just going and singing one song somewhere. So like there was a lot of just like steps I had to kind of fill in. And I feel like 2019 for me was a great year where I was writing a ton. I was playing shows, doing that whole thing. And then 2020 hit and I kind of was like, like everyone else, you take this collective like sigh and you're like, okay, now what do I do? So I feel like this EP has been a long working process to just like get out, and it's finally here.
So how'd you pick the 3 songs? Because I know you went through a lot and you sing a lot. Like you post your covers on social media and they're fantastic. So how'd you pick these 3 songs?
Thank you. So first off, just started writing. So I actually write almost exclusively with the guy I battled with on the show, Jason Wilkes, which is a crazy thing. And we had written, and I just kind of, have a folder in my Dropbox where I just like keep all the songs we've written. And then I have another folder where I keep, I really like that song. Let me just tuck that away as like a potential song we record. And so I narrowed down, actually the first single I released a few weeks ago was Leave Me Lonely. And that one, when we wrote it, I loved the melody. It was always stuck in my head. It felt commercial, but it still felt me. And so I knew that was going to be first. So that was kind of like the centerpiece. And then the other two songs kind of fell around it.
So what kind of artist are you? Are you country? Are you pop? Are you soul? Are you?
Honestly, those three are definitely, if you had to pick a category, those three would be it. I grew up with country, Garth Brooks, Tim McGraw, Carrie Underwood, like Trisha Yearwood, like all those people were on the radio constantly for me growing up. But then like my mom always played Whitney Houston. Like that was a soundtrack to my life because she always had that playing. So I learned how to have that soul and like that gospel feel. And then I grew up singing in church. So I had that aspect. And then like I grew up in the era where like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, like all that stuff was going on. So I feel like to me, that's like the collection. And when I listen to the EP, I hear all those things and like I hear little bits of like Rascal Flatts runs that I learned how to sing, I practice doing. And it's just, so I don't really know how to answer that question, but country to me is at the core because I love storytelling. Like I dream of having songs that just tell the story and you hear a music video in it.
So what's your goal with this EP? What, if you had to say, this is what I want to accomplish with this, what would it be?
My goal, the first one, I guess it's probably twofold. The first goal was to create something that felt like me, that didn't feel like I was chasing someone else's sound, but just like had my influences. So I'm proud to say I can check that off the list. And the second goal would be just to get that out and like let people hear it, let people find my music, get streams, I wish I could say I wasn't shooting for like the stars because that's also part of it, but just to have something out there that I've created that I love and that hopefully resonates with other people.
So what about more music this year?
Yeah, actually, I text Jason, my producer, after we got this finalized. I was like, okay, let's get started on the next one. And I'm learning how to like stay in my like, okay, we have this. Let's just go with this and run with it and play shows and do all that. But also, I'm already thinking, what would be the next type of like music I'm creating? Like, do I stay in that category? Do I go a little bit more country to kind of go towards that roots? Do I go, whatever? And that's the joy of like creating. You never really have to stop.
Have you been surprised? I know fans have really latched on, like your social media following is growing because I check, because that's my job, I check. Are you surprised by how fans are reacting to this?
Yeah, it's such a wide range. I'm actually very excited about this EP because the first song is a little bit more like, it pushes me a little bit more lyrically and just like melodically. And so like the people that only heard me sing in church are going to probably hear some of that and be like, oh, that's different. And then when you hear like the last one, it's more kind of like what you would think of from me. And so it's great hearing like the different responses. Like I have the ladies from church that love it. And then you have the like young kids that are like doing, love that too. So I think to me, that's country music as well. Like that's such a representation of that.
How about tour dates? Do we have tour dates coming now that the world is slowly opening up again?
That's next on my list to juggle. I would love to do an EP release show. I guess you can't really call it that when it's already been released, but I've actually never done a show in Nashville. So that's high on my list.
Wait. You've never ever performed. You've performed on national TV, but you've never performed in Nashville. What?
When you say it out loud like that, it does sound kind of ridiculous. Nashville it's been intimidating to me since I moved here. And now I like think about it. I'm like, just go, just do it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. So yeah, I think the first show I do post pandemic is going to be in Nashville.
Well, I mean, it's opening up, so you can start booking that now, my friend. I'm just saying, like, I would come. Yeah. I would leave my children and come. Probably Johnny would come too.
You heard it here first.
All right. Anything else you want us to know, my friend?
I think that's it. I'm really proud, and I'm just going to release this thing on Friday or whatever day Friday, April 30th. And I'm probably just going to tell myself to sit back, relax, and just like enjoy it. Like, I'm learning how to not set expectations. And actually that's kind of like the whole theme of this EP is just like be you and don't beat yourself up.